Thank you, everyone, for waiting. Again, it's been a long day. Uh, Thank you. I mean, I see some people in the chat. I see Sarah. Thanks for hosting the first part of this track. Definitely really appreciate your commitment to be part of maintainers of FactoryBot. One of the intentions of this event is that we eventually want to get more traction and people wanting to volunteer to submit PRs and do improvements to the jam. So that's what we want. Um, so yeah, we have, it's pretty much a similar format that the first version. So if you were already on the first part, you can skip and we'll go back to the pairing sessions. Otherwise, if you're just joining, definitely stay. We're gonna do an introduction to the project, how to set up the project to start contributing, and hopefully we'll start trying to tackle a couple of issues from FactoryBot and the custom project FactoryBot Rails, which is the specific tooling for to use FactoryBot with. Uh, well, first I wanna, Aji, can you introduce yourself in the meantime while we get everything ready?
Yeah. So my name is Aji. I've been with thoughtbot since about 2022, and I have never taken a look at the FactoryBot internals. I've used it all the time, but I will be playing the part of a outside contributor, someone that has come into the project fresh.
Thank you. And let me introduce myself. My name is Fernando, or Fer for short. Uh, Also, I've been a long time user, first time contributor for FactoryBot. So this morning, or well, depending on where you are, but the first part of the track, we have Sudo Messi and Sarah, which they're contributors to FactoryBot, and that's really cool when you are a contributor because you have a choice on where the project is gonna, the direction of the project. You also probably know the project more than anyone else, but most of the people in the chat, it's we're not contributors. We just want to start contributing. So this is a case like, okay, we have used FactoryBot, but we don't have an idea how to start. So we want to give this perspective, okay, like for first time contributors, how to get try to get some impact, and that's what we're gonna try to do. We don't know if we're gonna succeed. We might not, but we're gonna try. So I'm gonna do just, I don't want to assume that everyone knows FactoryBot, so we have like a short introduction over here. Um, what is FactoryBot? It's a fixture replacement. If we recall, when we do a Rails new project and when we create a model, we usually have, if we haven't changed anything, we have a fixture folder by default where we can define some objects that we're going to use for our testing. But yeah, it's probably a very good way to start. But eventually, our code base is going to be more complicated. We're going to have like larger models. We're going to have relationship between those models. And if you have used factories in a medium to large code base, fixtures, that eventually it's painful to maintain. So a long time ago, Joe started this gem. So pretty much it's a replacement for fixtures, which is the default that we got from Rails. Um, and what is this? Well, it introduces the factory pattern that you might have read in design pattern books. So we have a a single place where we can generate objects, and we can use those objects for testing. Just to go back to what we have here, one of the advantages is that we can use or we can create our objects in on demand compared to fixtures when we usually have everything created at the beginning when we're running our test suite. So that also helps. On some of the advantages, what it's mentioned pretty much in a README, straightforward definition syntax. We use DSL for that, support for multiple build strategies, and support for multiple factories for the same class, which is also one of the advanced features that it's really cool. We have, as I mentioned, the FactoryBot is the main core, the main code base for the project, but we also have FactoryBot Rails, which makes very easy for us to introduce factories in our Rails application. FactoryBot by itself is framework agnostic. We can use pretty much FactoryBot in any Ruby code base, but probably your use case is that you're going to use this in Rails, so we already have a gem for that. Um, as I mentioned, Sarah Lima and Silomesi are the maintainers at this point. Thank you so much for your efforts. Also, thanks for previous contributors who have worked on this gem. So, as I mentioned, we are like newcomers to the code base. We have used FactoryBot, and we want to introduce, or sorry, we want to start like, okay, we want to contribute. We have a couple of hours to do things. How do we start? Um, the place where I would start is definitely documentation. So let me start sharing my screen and go through what I could do, what we're gonna do as first-time contributors. So yeah, let me remove these slides and share screen. It's gonna be screen. I think this is the correct one. Okay, so this is, as I mentioned, the main repo for FactoryBot. We can pretty much, a couple of things that I like to do. It's okay, how active is the project? Okay, it's active last month. That's good. That's fairly recent. We might have some homepage or documentation page, also license. We can scroll a little bit more. Also, we can see when the last release was released. This part, okay, it's pretty much what we have gone through about what is FactoryBot about. And one of the recent efforts as of this year, if I recall correctly, if you are a longtime FactoryBot user, you remember that we had like a getting started page or a document. We still have that, but we made the effort to move all the documentation because, as I mentioned, the factory project is it's the objective is very simple, but the code base and all the features that it has, it's becoming more and more complex. So now we have this dedicated documentation page where we can go through all or pretty much everything that we need to know about how to use FactoryBot. So definitely this is a good, if you are a first time user also, this is a very good starting point when we have a guide on how to install, how to configure our application. Then the cookbook, it's a list of common issues that you might run or common setups that you might run into your that you want to implement in your application. So we have some examples. Also, if we go back, we have our wiki, which also give us more examples about the special integration. If you are not using RSpec and Rails, we have more options on how to do integration. And lastly, we have some references, which is again more in details that you might or might not use for your application. So yeah, how do we start? If I recall correctly, we have over here, I mean, we have links to documentation, we have how to set up, we have our supported list of supported versions, and we should have a contributing document where we have some advice on, okay, this is the first, the some of the things where we need help. And we can take a look that, yeah, probably being a user of the latest releases and report any bugs that we might run into, suggest new features, which is usually what most people do, just like, hey, it could be nice to have this as a feature for the main code base. Documentation, also that's usually one of the first things that people contribute, because it's, I don't want to say that it's easy, but you don't need to know the code base, but you might run into any issue like, okay, there's this setup and I try to follow the instructions, but that didn't work. So, but I found that there's an issue and I can report that. Writing specifications, writing code, which is probably the last one that we're going to try today, because definitely it's more complex, but we can start with documentation and reporting bugs. Closing issues, also if there's something that is resolved, and code reviews. So there are also some contribution guidelines that we should obey by, and every project is different. So for this one, the first thing that I could do is get familiar with what we're doing. So we have a tracker when we have the list of issues and probably feature requests or whatever we have. We're going to take a look at that. Also, this part is important. For large projects, it's very common that a lot of people report the same issues. So let's try to do that and to not do that. Also, it's very useful for contributors to have like reproduction steps. If the code base where you're experimenting the issue, it's probably private code that you don't want to share. It's useful to extract like a small version from a Rails new app and just do the small thing to be for contributors to reproduce. Also, we have some policies about how long we have an issue open. We have some automation here. And also we have the official instructions, which is where we can get started once we go to the code. Also some notes, how to install, which is what we're going to do. How to run specs and individual specs, and formatting. We're using standard to have like a homogeneous syntax in our code. Let's go to the issues list. So how can we find a good issue? Again, we're not contributors to we're not the core contributors. So we're gonna try to find something that we can understand. We're gonna probably go through the code base to try to understand an issue. But again, the case of most of you, it's you're beginners to this code base. You might not be familiar. You're just users of the code bases. So some projects have labels for like, oh, this is like a very good issue for beginners. Some others don't have that. Let's see. We can start taking a look at labels and issues. Yeah. So, for example, we have the good first issue. And we have one, so I'm gonna open this in a new tab for future reference when we decide what to work on. What else? It's a good. I don't know, Aji. Do you have any other like way to decide what could be a good feature for you when you join? When you're a
Yeah.
first-time contributor.
I think one of the things that I usually do is I sort of lurk in the issues for a little while if it's a project that I know I want to contribute to and I don't have a specific thing. But coming into it just completely fresh, yeah, reading through the issues, looking for that good first issue. Yeah, just kind of going down the list, seeing if there are any like keywords that pop out that are things that like, oh, I've dealt with that specifically. I might have some background.
Okay, that's definitely a good clue. I mean, we can see one that it's from this morning, so that's also probably a good one. We work on. We can take a look. I don't know what else. We have something about traits. What is traits? Again, we can go. Probably that's also useful that we can go through. Just for, I mean, I don't know. I don't know the experience of people in the chat, so probably we can just go through in general the main use cases that we have. I recall that there's a section that I wanted to go through, but it's definitely defining factories. Let me take a look. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. Should we go through some parts of the doc, or should we continue just going straight forward? I don't know.
Chat, do you have any opinions? Do you want to see some more of these updated docs, or?
Okay, I think in the meantime we can continue like try to choose like probably a couple of issues that could be a good start for ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely this one. I like this one. I'm gonna keep the FactoryBot Rails for once we're done with this. Just try to find something. We have something about trades. Let's take a look. This is fairly
Callbacks.
restrictions. Okay, trades that imply other ones can cause double running of callbacks. And then we have a description. When I make a trade B that implies A and B with B and A runs twice. We have reproduction steps, which is definitely really useful. It's just like a single file where we can run like a test app. Whereas we have the expected behavior that the after build block just runs once, but it's running twice. And we have the versions where we can take a look. There are some comments here. about the code base, and some ideas on what it could be, and some suggestions. Okay, this definitely looks a little bit more advanced, so probably we want to start like building like simplest issue, then for the second part like a kind of medium issue, and then try to tackle the hardest one at the end. So let's certify something. I don't know, one of the things that we can do probably as first contribution, try to see something about documentations. I know there was some discussion about this one this
Mm,
morning, pretty much just to bring an example of what things or some of the decisions that maintainers of a project they need to consider. It's the when the project started, we only had the getting started document, and this one has pretty much all the examples that now live in the docs repo on this one. So pretty much everything that is here was living on just one single document.
mhm,
I think at the beginning of this year it was moved to okay, this is growing a lot, so let's move this to a specific documentation. But some people it's like, oh, I don't think that's really a good idea, and this is pretty much the reason behind that issue. Because yeah, I think it's useful to have like a dedicated section or a dedicated page for documentation when a project is large enough. But also the advantage of having just like a one page, and I did this a lot of times. Like, I know that I want to do something, but I don't know what is the feature, so I can just scroll and take a quick look, and then
mhm,
find, oh, okay, the feature that I need, it's called a trait, and this is an example of how to do it. This is pretty much the reason. Like, consider like, hey, going back like somewhere somehow the single page where we can just take a look instead of having like very modular documentation. So that's where this issue, the create a getting started section can help
mm,
beginners. Um, so we have some documentation on this one. Okay, so probably this could be a good one because it's about documentation. Let's see if
yep,
there's something else. Um, there's something about attributes for does not use initialize with the dogs. Oh, okay. This is a mismatch about documentation
yeah,
and the behavior. And actually, that's the question: is this a bug or incorrect documentation? Then we have some reproduction steps. Let's see. Is there some conversation here? Okay, it seems that the documentation is incorrect. So you bring it up. Did you want attributes for to use initialize with? And then some more details about the case. I want to not assign attributes since your value is present because I'm tracking assignments of these attributes. Perhaps that's a better way, but using sentinel values was a solution. I have to superfluous attributes for arguments about assigning sentinel values. Okay, definitely for this one, it's not just like a straightforward change in docs. It's probably a discussion on how what would be the behavior or what we're introducing, why we should, if the expected behavior is what we want, or if we want to change the behavior. Okay, what else do we have? We have a couple of old issues. A lot of
mm,
factories use RSpec example methods such as double. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Uh, okay, this can either be an improvement on something to add to the documentation. Again, it's about documentation. Use RSpec double within a factory. Okay, it's probably combining.
okay,
Yeah, I think it's combining RSpec things. Okay, we would need to do a setup for this one, or that's the expectation. Um, okay, this is like a fairly common use case when we I've used factories for to mock like external response, so they want to
yeah,
be able to mock things, um, and then they want to have like some introduction, some integration, or a way to introduce this one. Which again, it probably requires more discussion, and it's been a stale for some time. And there's like a workaround, which I think this is pretty much what I usually do.
mm,
Just
mhm,
okay, there are some related issues. Okay, what else? We can take a look. I think these are related to documentation, but not exactly changes for documentations.
Yeah.
Um, Operating experience with file uploads, allow factories to use RSpec examples. I don't know what else we can try to find. I
Yeah.
have one in FactoryBot Rails that could be a
Oh,
good
okay.
one, but definitely want to see if we can find something in the main part.
Hmm. It
Hmm.
seems it's tough because it's such a mature project that adding does seem to require a lot of context. So
Hmm.
this is not going to be an uncommon situation to encounter when you're bringing up an open source project that you want to contribute to. So
Hmm. That's definitely a good point. Okay, we have some ideas that could be a good one. Uh, let's go to FactoryBot Rails because I know that this one has less activity, and as I mentioned, I think I have one issue that could be one. It's not really specific to the FactoryBot code base, but it's about the tooling that we use for the code base. So again, let's
seems
take a
less
look at the
daunting,
issues.
if nothing else.
Yeah, I think it was pretty much this one. The
Mhm.
one I saw. I mean, we have this. This is about namespacing, which is also maybe a hard one to start. But probably this one. I checked this one. Um, Pretty much, we use standard to take care of the styling of our code base. But there are a couple of issues. For example, one of the parts that Silemesi mentioned, like, hey, we don't really have a check if we go to let's go to GitHub Actions. I think we have a build. Oops, sorry, a build workflow. Uh, I think we only have a check for the test, but we don't have a check for the linter as
Mm,
we have for FactoryBot. And then I think that was oh, Luis mentioned that it's a little bit fuzzy. I don't know. It's like both. It's both our voices, or it's just like the streaming in
the
general.
video
Yeah, let me see if I'm using the correct camera and audio, which seems to be correct.
sounds like
Okay.
a Lewis problem. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not having an issue, so it could be
Oh, visually. Okay, that's even worse. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably the zoom level. I don't know. Let's see if more zoom helps a little
the other
bit.
might help.
Okay.
So even if it gets fuzzy. Mm.
Okay, had to refresh the page once. Ooh, good. Streaming, it's weird. So yeah, I follow up this one. So we have like, okay, maybe we should add standard to our GitHub Actions,
Yeah.
and there's a PR for a draft PR that maybe we can do some of the work, but uh, there are some issues with while adding while trying to add the actions. Why? Because this project supports. Actually, let's take a look at. Go back to this part. If we take a look again at GitHub Actions and the build workflow, this project needs to be able to support these 4 versions of Ruby as well as these 3 versions of Rails. And if I recall correctly, the issue is that depending on the version, there are some changes that were introduced in Rails 3 and upwards that are not present in Ruby 3.
Mm,
So this is pretty much like the the linter reports that, hey, we should just use the ampersand for block syntax
mm,
if we're using 3.2. But we also support Ruby 3.0. So we need to do a
right.
change in the code to be able to support both syntaxes for if we still want to maintain 3.0, which is one of the follow-ups that are here. We can either remove support for 3.0. That probably requires like a longer conversation because it's like, okay, do we have like any policy to decide what is the latest Ruby version that we need support? If I recall correctly, Ruby 3.0, it's probably still maintained. Actually, we can take a look at releases. Let me see it, because it's if it's not maintained anymore, probably I would go towards not supporting a version that it's already deprecated. But if it's still maintained, I don't know. Where can we find that information quickly? Oh, I think there's like EOL page. It's not related to Ruby, but I've used this.
Hmm.
That gives you. Oh, this is a good point. For example, uh, this was released
Okay.
3 years and 10 months ago, and the support it's ended. It's on the
Oh,
branches page. Yep, and we can take a look. I like this page because we have like pretty much most libraries and open source code here, and you
yeah.
can take a
I've
look
I've never
quickly.
seen this tool, so
Yep.
make a note.
Yeah, it was April this year, so we can try that. We can try dropping support for 3.0. And I also noticed, I mean, probably that's a good first. Let's see if they have. I mean, there's a PR. I hope they are not. They didn't solve this. I think it's just ignored at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so we still have the. Actually, we're gonna take a look at main and see. Just verify that we are. Oh, which I already did. So yeah, that sounds like a good first contribution. Again, we're not part of the court, so we don't know
Yeah.
about the internal. So probably this looks like a good starting issue where we can try to do a first contribution in this first section. So we're gonna drop support for Ruby 3. Oh, okay. The someone
Yeah.
David, let me take a look because that also looks interesting. David Harris is sharing that you can take a look at the branches when Ruby it's Ruby downloads, and there's a branches section where you can take a look
Hmm.
at the where's the branches snapshot. I think it's just dash. Yeah, branches. Oh, okay. That's even better than what we saw.
Yeah.
So you have like a nice graph and you can see like, okay, Ruby 3 was already dropped. So yeah, definitely it's a good candidate to do. It's a good thing to do. Just remove support for 3.0.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, let's try that. Okay, we have identified like a good first issue for ourselves, which is not really related to the code base. It's just related to GitHub Actions. Okay, so if we go back to, I mean, I should have the contributing guide somewhere. Let me just open that again. If I recall correctly, we have to do a fork and then create a topic branch. And we have a link just to get an idea on conventions about a topic branch, which is pretty much. I don't know. I have never heard the term topic branch. I've heard feature branch, but I think it's probably the same. It's just like a
Yeah.
dedicated branch for having a feature. In this case, removing 3.0. Implement your feature, do whatever you want to do, and then submit a PR. And then we're required to add some tests. In this case, probably we don't need tests because we're dropping support for 3.0, but we just want to make sure that GitHub Actions is happy with our change. Okay, and there are some issues like if we don't know how to do tests. This is also really cool because sometimes that's what prevents people from do a contribution. Is like, yeah, I know
Hmm.
what I need to change, and
Yeah.
then create a PR. Okay, there's one comment. I disagree. Many older applications still run on 3.0. I think. Let me put this on the screen. Oh, sorry. It's this one. Many other applications still run on Ruby 3.0. I think support should only stop when you want to add a new feature that 3.0 does not support. Okay, that's definitely also a fair call. Also, what is Stephanie? Fair enough, it's a lot of work for maintainers to support EOL versions, though, especially for projects like FactoryBot, where we don't need to keep on track with new releases. That's also a fair point. That's definitely going to be a call for maintainers if they decide to introduce or changes or not.
Yeah.
From what I see on this, and also something worth mentioning, which I totally let me share again the slides. We have the contributing guide, and also this is important that we're kind of working on maintenance mode for these tools, and the focus it's keeping the library up to date with the latest Ruby on Rails versions, and we're not really working a lot of actively on new features. um, so what I think we can do, it's again, we're gonna do the PR. There's no guarantee that it's going to be merged. There's no guarantee that it's going to be released. But at least what we're trying to give the maintainers is like, hey, I heard that you wanted to do that. We did that for yourself. So you can, there's at least one less thing that you can do. And yeah, and I agree that it's probably, I think in my opinion, I mean, I've maintained other um, open source projects, and definitely that's the hard part when you know, like, okay, some people want this, but some people it's against this.
Yeah,
That's really hard.
and opening
But
the PR is a great place to like have that conversation too. So if we
mhm,
get to a place where we're open that PR, then Codemeister is definitely like it would be awesome to
to have that
have this
discussion.
conversation in there.
Mhm, I agree. So again, for the sake of learning, let's do that. Because also there's Rails 7.2 already released, and we don't have support for that. But I think there was a PR for Rails 7 to support.
Oh, cool.
So again, let's open this PR. Let's have some discussion. And again, it's what we want to do here. It's just like, hey, this is how you contribute, and I think it's definitely a good example. And definitely, I expect a lot of discussion on this part. So okay, going back to contributions, it says that we need to do a fork for this project. Even though I have push access to this one, I'm gonna do the things exactly as they are told in the contribute section. So let's go to the code base and let's do a fork. I'm gonna create a new copy. Everything looks good. Okay, now I have a fork. So I'm gonna clone my fork locally. That's gonna happen behind the scenes while I prepare everything. Over here, I need to do some cleanup. So just give me a second. Um, okay, I'm cleaning FactoryBot Rails, and let's open code. Okay, it's opening. Okay, we have code base here. We have more things than my code base, so let me just open my code, the fork FactoryBot Rails, is to not have some noise from extra projects. So probably need to make this larger. Okay. So the first thing we have to do, I don't know, probably, I don't know. I need to check that. I don't know what they're doing. It's okay. We have to
Oh,
do a
trust you.
feature branch. Okay, I need to trust the space. So we probably need to trust this to do. Yes, this is just for browsing, but we're gonna work on things. So let's actually open this in unrestricted mode. I don't use code usually, but I've noticed that Beam when streaming sometimes looks funky,
Oh,
and
really?
I wanna. Yep, I don't know why. It's probably some setup that I might have,
Hmm. Yeah, I
but
don't. Code
how can
users
I
in
do?
chat.
Yep,
Help.
definitely. Oh, I see a lot of comments.
Yeah, there's still a lot of great discussion going on about the.
Oh yeah, you can, if you can go through those comments while I have everything set up. I'm gonna just remove myself in the meantime.
Yeah, there's going back and forth talking about the end of life Ruby versions. I was trying to find which Ruby versions does Rails specifically still support or not, but can't find an official page for that. It's in there somewhere, I'm sure. It says, yeah, I think this comment was something I was thinking about too. Is pinning gems to old versions, especially if it's in maintenance mode. There's not going to be huge changes, um, and of course, staying on older versions of Ruby of Rails that don't have security fixes, then you're kind of already open to that anyway. So that's a decision that you're making or that you're stuck with for the moment, I guess.
Very good point. Yeah, I had to click a button, but since my font was very large, I was not able to see the button. So it was not as hard as I thought. Just so let me add this again. Okay, so now it's working on a restricted mode. So installing dependencies. I'm just running bundle just to make sure that I have everything that I need in order to run this code. Oh yeah, I love these discussions. Definitely keep going. Yeah, I mean you can pin definitely, and then a counterpoint. You deny access to any feature. Good technical run. Yeah, that's also a good point. I mean, I agree. Um, yeah, I think we can take a look. I mean, I wanna open factory bot res because we can also have a sense of. I want to share this again, which is the Ruby Gems page for FactoryBot, and we can take a look at how frequent we're releasing things, which that also can give us an idea. Um, so, I mean, latest release was today, which I think I
Pretty
took a
recently.
look at that release. Yep, was pretty much from this morning. And then we had like a couple of releases last year, and then definitely I want to say that FactoryBot Rails does not have as much changes as the main repo, the FactoryBot repo, and I'm almost sure. Again, it's a guess as a non-maintainer that the new features that might appear are more related to the FactoryBot gem and not really the FactoryBot Rails. Um, so that's one of the points. Another thing that can probably help contributor or maintainers to decide what is the relationship. I mean, this is specific to Rails, so what is the newest or the upcoming Rails version gonna support Ruby 3 or not? Because if it's not, that's probably one point to drop support. If it's still supported by Rails 7 too, okay, maybe we should
Yeah,
still
I
keep
think.
that. So we have a lot of, I mean, as maintainers, we have a lot of things to decide. So definitely, it's very interesting. Uh, okay, for Rails, you can find required reversion with the gem details. Yep, for 3.7, I think. Sorry for, I'm gonna grab this because it's exactly what I was talking about. That you can find the required version. So for the upcoming Rails 7.2, it's 3.1. So that's for me one more point to not maintain 3.0 for coming versions. But again, you can all at any time pin the version if you're still running Ruby 3. Sorry, if you're running Ruby 3. Um, so yeah, for me, I mean, I know the maintainers, but it's up to them to accept our contribution. Okay, my gems are still installing. That's very slow, so probably something is stuck. So I'm gonna I'm gonna go back to the code base. So let's create a branch. I don't know. How can we call this branch? We can actually. I'm gonna do this from Bash. It's definitely way faster. I don't know. Let's call. Is there actually? That's another thing. Another
Oh yeah,
important thing. Is there any convention for naming? I don't know. We
yeah.
can take
Let's
a.
take a look.
Let's take a look. What I could do is probably go to the main repo again and take a look. I mean, I didn't see any conventional naming, but let's take a look at what people is doing. No, I think it's probably related. It's just a description about what we're gonna do. I don't see
Yeah,
any like pattern. But also that's also important. Like take a look at the specifications for a project, because sometimes that's a first reason to request a change. Like, hey, this is not the conventions we're using for naming, so would you mind renaming your branch? In this
Yeah.
case, I don't see any, so we can probably call them drop support for Ruby 3. Okay, so we're now in this branch here, drop support for Ruby 3. And let's go back to the code. So what I think we should do, and again, we're exploring this part, is we should go to GitHub. And I mean, it's not, I'm almost sure it's not going to be a CC, right? Just to remove this.
It never
That,
is.
that I mean, that would be great, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So we're going to drop this. We also probably, let's take a look at to see if there's any other, I mean, we don't have anything here related to 3. I'm almost sure maybe appraisal might have something related to 3. No, this is just
Hmm.
for Rails. I think we should be good. Do we have, I don't know, maybe a gem file or a gem file, a gem spec? Um, I don't see anything just that provides integration between. Oh, also, this is probably something that might need to be updated,
Yeah.
because probably the current versions do not support Rails 5. But that could be for another PR. Let's try to see what else we might need on this one.
So anything
Um,
maybe in the README or
oh, yep, that's a good
contributing,
point.
anything like in the documentation that might list what?
Uh, let's see, README. Okay, this is pretty much. This is the setup. FactoryBot definitions. No, I think this is just in general how to set up generators. Okay, we want to add a suffix. Contributing guideline. Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't see. What about rake file? No, I don't see any other file. Let's try to find 3.0 in code base. I mean, I'm gonna. Sorry, I forget that I want to do this from here just to have everything in the same window. So we need to find 3.0. I mean, gem file lock, probably not.
Hmm.
We have some change in the news. Oh, this is from last year.
Hmm.
Oh, was
Yeah.
support for 3.0 introduced last year?
I don't know if it
Or,
was probably that a lower Ruby versions were still supported and it was
hmm.
cut
Oh,
at
pretty much what we're gonna
3.0
do. Yep,
would
that's
be my
actually good.
guess.
Okay, yeah, that also sounds pretty much what we're trying to do. I mean, I don't find any other reference for 3.0, so let's prepare something. Um, okay, let's do. Again, I'm doing this behind the scenes because I feel it's faster to do a commit. So, I'm gonna do a commit with pretty much the same drop support for Ruby 3. We can add probably more details about why we want to do that, just to justify our suggestions. Let me move my terminal here. Oh, everything is so sluggish. Um, let's see. We can grab support for Ruby 3. Ruby 3 reach LL. When was the date? We had that
April,
here,
I think.
right? Uh, yeah, April 2024. April 2024. Should that say, yeah, Ruby 3.0? Because, yeah, that's definitely a good point. Ruby 3 it's
No,
still a thing, but yeah,
no,
3.0 it's
no more Ruby 3.
let's jump to 4. Okay, so we have this thing. And let me see, do I have the remotes correctly? I mean, I should be yes, because I just cloned that.
Yep.
Top line also. Oh, yeah, let's amend this one. So I think that also the title just says 3. Yep, 3-0. Good catch, Luis. Thank you. Now let's do this. One of the things that I don't know how it's gonna work is, I mean, we made the fork. There's already some CI setup that comes from the original repo. Is that gonna run in a repo without any changes? Is it gonna run until we do a PR against the
It's a good question.
fork? That's another thing that we need to explore. Probably we don't need this. Probably we need this. Okay, we have the option to create a PR. Okay, is there another thing that it's useful when you're doing a first contribution? It's see if there's a template. I mean, in theory, if there's a template, it should have appeared here, but I don't know if we overwrote the template in case that there's one. I don't see any template. I think it's called pull request template or pull template. I don't remember what it's the convention to have a template for PRs. But we can take a look at close PRs to see what contributes to a good message. I mean, these are the PendaBot. Probably this one. This one was from Sarah. Okay, it's pretty much standard, and it's related to the standard thing that we saw first. Okay, so yeah, probably just like a straightforward description, which I think this is good.
Do you want to link to the
oh yeah,
movie line page?
That is a very good point. I should have that here. Ranches. Probably this one.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's useful. I don't know. We can pretty much do something according to Ruby Lang page. And just do a fancy link instead of like a roller. Just copy paste link. I think we can also make for this one, since the idea that we want to contribute it's related to one of the already existing issues. We can probably link to that issue. Oh, this is from FactoryBot. I don't know. Let's search again FactoryBot. Sorry, FactoryBot Rails. If I recall here, it's about a standard, which is this one. So the issue. It's this one actually. Fix the standard violations. It's probably both, but I think this one has the mention to this one. So it's 482. Okay. Support. Actually, we can be more explicit. Supporting Ruby 3.0 is blocking the project, or it's preventing the project. I think it's a weird word. Preventing the project from implementing standard RV.
Most recent.
Yep, most recent version. Since we need to add a special case for syntax introduce in 3.5. Also, I think we can mention this. See, what was the number?
4 something. I know that's super helpful.
Yeah, 400.
For thing.
I think we can find by name also. Is this one?
Yeah.
And what was the other related to standard fixed standard errors? Standard errors. So, okay, this is what we're doing. I don't know. Do we just create a PR? Is there something else? We can do a preview. And supporting with standard most recent version. We need to do a special case for introduce. Yeah, I mean, let's do that. I mean, we're not the maintainers, so it's not up to us to create these. I'm also I'm especially curious about the CI thing. I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna need a couple of reviews. Okay, it's running automatically, and yeah, and I don't see the 3.0 version, so that's
Nice.
fine. Let's see if that is working. And I'm gonna ping the maintainers. Oh, they already choose probably as default because they are the maintainers. Oh, yeah. Let's go through some of the comments in the meantime. Okay, there's something from David. I'm gonna pull this one. If a PR template file is present in a repo, it should be populated in the text area when you open the PR. Yep, that's definitely what I was expecting. What I don't know is if you already have like a body in the commit, because usually that's what
Does it
happens.
overwrite?
Yeah, exactly. That could be a good experiment because I don't know the answer. But yeah, if you open one like from scratch, you should have the template. And I think for FactoryBot, there's a template. So that could be also another contribution that we can do as beginners. Have some consistency between the two projects. No, there's a releasing. I cannot remember seeing something like, or was it for the issues? Let's see.
Yeah, there's also issuing PR templates and
Yeah, if I open
yeah.
an issue, oh yeah, they have that. Bug report, feature request report, security vulnerability. So depending on which one, it's gonna open the proper. Let's see this one. Okay, yeah, this one has like a proper template. Which I don't know. Do we have that for factory bot rails? Let's take a look. Um, New issue. We do. Okay, that's fine. Feature request and report. Okay, then it's for issues. So yeah, it's working as expected. I mean, it has same behavior. So okay, we can try to take a look at more things to work on. I think we have, if I recall correctly, let me see the schedule. Because I think we are gonna do a break shortly.
It's
Um,
about in an hour. We've been going for about an hour, so another hour before our
okay,
scheduled break.
okay, good. Let's try to find something else that we can try to work on. This one, I also see this one. I think this one was already approved. So it's probably gonna be reviewed soon. Sorry, it's gonna be released soon, which is related to what we're doing, but in this case, it's supporting Rails 2.7, which is also needed. Um, what else we might have here? Let's go back
See.
to issues. Okay, we have done something related to this one. We have about namespaces, which also might be a hard one, but maybe we wanna we
Yeah,
can probably leave this that one like at the end because that definitely is gonna take more time to get involved into the code, trying to understand how it works.
this is actually funny. That was I was pairing with a friend on her project, and we found this bug, and so I actually have a
Mm,
little bit of background on that one, but no idea how to go about fixing that.
okay,
And
yeah,
I would,
that's definitely something that I've noticed. Okay, I know that people want to contribute, and we want to fix the hard things, but again, we also should be conscious about how familiar we are with the code base. And usually, the first, and I've seen this even in Rails and Ruby, just like the first time people contribute, is just like, oh, I found a typo. Oh, there's a broken link, and that's
yeah.
definitely a good first contribution, even though you are not fixing something in the code.
Oh, absolutely.
Uh, so yeah, definitely, we would like to solve something very complicated, but we probably need to build up on top of the of something
Some
very easy, and then
context.
start. Yep.
Yeah.
This one, Gen spec is missing require Ruby version. Oh yeah,
Well,
I
this
mean this
seems
is
related.
yeah, actually because we wanted to see what was the version. Okay, and there's a plus one. Oh, I know this person actually. I know Juan. Um, this could be a good one actually because it was related to us. Like, oh, what is the version supported? But we inferred
Yeah,
that
spec commit.
from appraisal. But Okay, let's take a look. Uh, yeah, I think it's what is the change? Let's see. Yeah, definitely, it's making what it's explicit on the build file just to
Hmm.
be explicit in the jam spec. That's definitely a good one. That's also a good small contribution that we can try to do.
Is there in that commit? Is there anything um, other than
The build.
the build that gets changed there? Because that might indicate that there are other things that we need to update in
Hmm.
RPR.
Yeah, I mean, for this case, they are changing rails, and for rails, they
Yeah.
are using appraisal just
Oh, okay,
to
and
be able
five.
to run in different rails versions.
Hmm.
Which for our PR, we were not changing the rails version, so that should be
Right,
good.
right. Yeah,
Bumping the rails FactoryBot rails,
yeah. It's not our.
some break file, and just removing something again for the specific version.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, definitely this could be also good starting PR. Also, if people in the chat has identified something like a good first PR, either feel free to start working on that one, or also just throw that in the chat, and we can work all together in that one. Um, which yeah, I've heard that interaction is good part of doing a live stream, so I want to be more interactive with you all. Okay, so let's take a look at the. Oh no, it was not FactoryBot. It was, but okay, this one definitely looks very good. So I'm gonna keep this one. Um, oh yeah, there's a. Oh, someone read our minds. Well, not read our minds. Oh, I think it's a follow up to what we're doing. Is it? Yeah,
Ah, very nice.
it's pretty much if the Ruby 3.0 support is dropped, then this one can be merged easily. Okay, dude, that's definitely a great contribution.
Yeah,
It's pretty much like remote painting. I mean, actually, what we can do it's pretty much like do a thumbs up. It's definitely that is great. If we had scripted this collaboration, we were not gonna pull off, but it's working. Okay, this one it's green, so what we have to do is just require people to take a look. Probably I don't know when they have time. I know they're very busy and they are about the end of day, well, the working day for them. So
absolutely.
we'll
Yeah.
wait. Okay, let's try to tackle the other one. The other one's it seems doable, and also I I think I have only messed around like gem spec like a long time ago, but it's usually something that you just create your gem and it's there and you don't
It's
touch
just
it, right?
there. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's do that. Let's do this one. Do you want to drive this one? Um, should I continue and
Sure.
then do the switch after the break? Because yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
let's
also
do that.
useful that you have everything set up. Okay, I'm gonna. Do you wanna use your machine? Do you want me to?
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's see.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing.
Chambers. Okay. I
Oh,
have a
mhm.
ridiculously large monitor, and so I have to use
Like this.
a new tool here to make sure that.
Okay, no worries. In the meantime, there's an announcement that I forgot to do this morning. We have, as we did in the first part of the streaming, we have a raffle for a T-shirt. So let me find where's my banner for that one. Actually, I was gonna write that as a comment because I don't think you can comment. You can click on um, forms. Let me see if this is the correct one. Uh, it is. So yeah, we have a shirt. Uh, I shared the link in comments. Hopefully, you can click that one, or at least it's easier for you to copy and paste. Uh, it's a simple form for people who is participating on this track. We did a raffle for the morning track. We're doing one for this track. Uh, Well, do you wanna? And also, we have like a nice. We have a link. If you open that one, actually, let me share the form in the meantime. Um, yeah, you can click that link. I'm also at a banner just to make sure which one is. But probably clicking on the comments is easier. Yeah, you just need to provide your email, and that's it. You will be participating in the raffle. If you want to see how this awesome t-shirt looks like, here you have. Uh, it's really cool. It's a pretty cool design, and we don't have this one, so it's a brand new design.
Yeah, wow.
So if you wanna participate on the raffle, just use the form. Again, form in the comments or also there. And yep, you just submit your email and you will be participating into the raffle. We are gonna do probably once we are back from the long break. I think that's a good point where we can do the raffle and then continue working on some issues that we might find. So yep, don't miss the opportunity to win this cool swag.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing again.
Go. All right. Let's see.
Yeah, if you can make the font like larger,
Yeah.
great. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's perfect. It's
Cool.
okay.
All right. So this is the issue that we are going to be taking a look at. I am going to do similarly to Fair just did. Fork, repo, everything standard. Looks good. Should only take a few seconds. There we go. That is all right. That's all in there, isn't it? Nope, it's not. Don't want you to even see how many little dots are there for my. All right, cool. Yeah. So similarly, I don't open up and work with gem specs all that often, so I don't even know the syntax for Ruby compatibility. So I'm gonna look that up. Wired Ruby version. Nice. Okay. Looks fairly easy.
Okay.
Let us into. Of course, I'm trying out some new editor things right when
Ooh.
I probably shouldn't be.
I did the same, so I cannot complain.
There we go.
Yeah. Can you make the font larger? Definitely.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got. Where does this look? Is there any other kind of requirements? Summary, description, version. Where do we want to put this? Runtime dependencies.
Hmm.
It feels like more important than that.
Yep.
Is it just singular?
Yeah, I think it's one, and then we can use greater than syntax.
Right.
If I recall correctly, definitely, I'm not sure. Oh, just be aware for this one. I think it still should be 3.0. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we haven't merged. We haven't get the other one approved. So
Absolutely. Good point. Apparently, I have problems with my formatter right now too. So
oh,
So I feel your pain, standard. Okay, that's about it, right?
Uh, oh, do the gem file require also that, or do we have something in gem file like Ruby version?
I don't think we saw one before, right?
No, because I mean we use that for Rails, but I don't see that here, and I don't know if it's even a thing for gems.
Mm-hmm.
Because for if I recall correctly, for gem files, you specify the version for that project, at least for Rails.
Mm-hmm.
So not sure if that's the same case for. Let me see.
Right.
Let's try to find a gem file for Ruby version for gems, because probably we don't need to do that. Cause so, but I don't know.
A good comment here from Christoph that it's probably, or there's a very good case to be made that
Oh,
this isn't as important because FactoryBot does have a required Ruby version.
oh, that makes sense. And Factory Bot Rails has a dependency on Factory Bot.
That's a good point.
Yeah, let's take a look at that one. Because yeah, if they have the other one, maybe we don't need that.
Well,
Let's see, Factory Bot Rails. Yeah, because let's see the gem spec for Factory Bot.
oh,
Uh, oh yeah, they did a. Oh, okay. I think I've also seen something similar. Like they're loading from the version from a file in. Oh, hold on. Are
this is
you okay?
that is
Require.
from the gem class. You got requirements. Yeah, and this is a good point too. If well, this is all something for the discussion thread in that PR. Like another point to bring up too is getting the FactoryBot Rails gem required Ruby version out of sync with the FactoryBot required Ruby version. That's something to
Mm-hmm.
consider as well.
Yep. Do we okay? Oh, then what we can do with our findings is go to the issue and add this piece of knowledge. Definitely, I think that's a good part. That's one a small contribution.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like it's something that we didn't know, and someone shared that. So probably we can just pretty much. Or Christoph, if you're around, definitely feel free to do the comment because it's your contribution.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
probably we can do that, and that might be enough to close the issue, which is also a good resolution for. I mean, not all issues are they throw or they're related to code. Sometimes like, oh, we are not doing this because this is the reason, and
Yeah.
so good. There's another thing
Yeah.
that has been improved.
Another way to contribute by not contributing code.
Yeah, I love those doing like fixing things with and not doing anything. Okay, let's try to find something else because definitely
Oh, there was that.
I'm happy with that one.
Yeah, there was the. What did we see on FactoryBot about the getting started?
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean that's an idea from this morning. So definitely it's just like I don't know if this is ready to be a thing or it's just like an idea that was there. I just gave a test by trying to set the initial. Yeah, because that's a setup. Right? Through games, some folks would prefer the list link in the main README. Let's see that one. Oh, but by the way, I mean just random. I think I know Christoph.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's probably from Yuruko. I don't know. That name is sounds familiar, but I don't know. Maybe.
small community. Let's see. So this was installation varies. So is that the sort of thing that this is kind of that helps beginners with the basics of contributing.
Hmm. Oh, contributing or using? That's a good point.
It's yeah, contributing. Well, what
Okay.
is what's there right now? Ah,
Yeah, because that link goes to the new documentation, which is like a
right.
lot, like a lot of things to grasp if you're just starting
Yeah.
contribution.
hmm is there anything in here about contributing? Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Could be.
So setting up in the test suite. So what would be something that we think is important for someone who comes new to the page? They want to
Mhm.
contribute to FactoryBot and wouldn't know how to get started. So, what is something that you need to know?
Hmm. Can we go back to the issue? Because definitely, I still don't get it, the main point. We don't have a section in the README that helps beginners with the basics of contributing. There's something, but it's related to the actual setup. So, and then I think it's probably the internals of FactoryBot, which is something that definitely we are like trying to get away from those issues because we don't know how to start. Um, so how might we create something a little friendlier? Probably like a quick. I don't know. It sounds like like we want to have a document for people who wants to contribute. So maybe we like explaining the internals. Let me remove the form. We don't need this one. I think that's what gives me the impression, but I'm not really sure if that's the expectation for that issue.
Hmm,
But for example, in our case, we saw an issue about callbacks, and
right.
then the only thing we have about callbacks is the large documentation page,
Mm-hmm,
but we don't
hmm
have like a quicker way to know about callbacks. That's probably along those lines. Definitely, we can ask more on the issue. Um, but yeah, it's not still clear for me at this point what it's the expectation, because it's I thought it was related to the other issue, the issue with when they want like a quick guideline or like a single page with everything that
hmm
FactoryBot can do. But no, I think this is definitely well, it's related to that one. So
Yeah, I
I
think
don't know.
was there
It's linked
something
to
in
it.
the because the old getting started is it's there, but it's probably not going to get updated very often anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something in here that we're missing about contributing?
Contributing.
So,
Um, yeah, probably that could be a good point because it's pretty much set up how to use and in general. It's configuration.
yeah, I'm not sure. Not having been part of that discussion this morning, I'm
Hmm.
not sure what the kind of
Yeah, let's try to find something else because also I don't know. It's very fresh, so I'm not sure what we have.
yeah.
There are some
Uh,
feature requests, number right values.
yeah, let's try to see if we can wrap our minds around this. We've got
Hmm.
some time before a break. Like if we
Okay.
can dig into it and think that we've got a path forward, then maybe that'll be something to work on this afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
All
So.
right. Trait B that implies A and build with B and A traits that after build runs twice. Okay, I think my guess as to
Mhm.
what this is meaning is if there is, yeah, here we go. Trait implies foo, so this is going to be adding foo trait
Mhm.
also. After build runs twice because it's going to run once with foo and then once with
Mm.
implies foo
Mhm.
when they get added. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Then we have a test for that. And what is the expected behavior? That it just runs once.
Hmm.
And
And so rather than we want to see it just once, rather than I
Mhm.
imagine this gets twice, maybe with a new line in between.
Okay. Okay, I think I get the general issue.
Hmm. Let's see if
Uh,
we can.
yeah, let's see if we can run that. And also at the end we have the Ruby and Rails versions required. Well, I think for this one it's just Ruby. So make sure you're using that one. And another clue on what to work, especially if you have no idea what are those issues about, it's sometimes you find issues that have happened to you,
Hmm.
and it's like, oh yeah, I know this was painful for me, and I know someone else has had the same issue, so maybe that's a good opportunity to improve things. Okay. Yep. Possibly
Okay.
with foo,
With foo.
because it's up and it's calling twice, so it's up. It's calling the app and twice. Okay, that makes sense. What else? What? Mhm.
Oh, plus equals. Yep. Okay. Got it. Understood.
Okay. System configuration. Okay. I think there was another comment below related to some options on how to fix that. Okay, the aggregate callback. Get a flattened callback, but maybe the context is making them similar. Register like the decorators. But then we would need to have a name identifier for each callback. Ooh, okay. Definitely it's time
Mhm.
to get into the internals because
Yeah. Well, let's start here and what okay, so this is the only place that we're finding flatten.compact. So let's take this little breadcrumb from our commenter. We're going to aggregate from traits, compacts, base traits. This is just getting passed in and initialize.
so
Ooh.
in our case, is that a vase trait?
Uh, no idea. Can you find
Because we
out
have
what base trait
additionals.
is? This file. This is definition, right? Where does definition get? Right. So we're here in the specs now, trying to figure out what the behavior is. Um, Definition new. This one only has a name, though. It doesn't look like it has this
Mhm.
base traits. I would hope that there'd be a test that would tell us a little
Okay.
more.
Mhm. Um, I see an opportunity here.
Okay.
Uh, since we're not familiar with the code base, we're trying to start from the more specific things and go up to the more general things,
Mm,
which I think it's related or barely related to the issue related to documentation. Like, if you want to start fixing something, we don't know how to start.
mm,
So probably we can take some notes about the general architecture, and that could be useful for people who's joining. Like, okay, this is the way it works. Because at this point, like, I don't know. I mean, I know what a trait is, and I have used those, but I don't know the what was the reductor. I don't remember the term.
yeah.
So it's like, oh yeah, maybe this is just like we're not going down the rabbit hole. We're already in the rabbit hole, and we're trying to get out.
Yeah. and help put some guideposts up for the next person who
Mhm.
wants to come in. That's a good idea.
Okay.
Okay.
I can take some notes here, and then we can do some cleanup and maybe open a PR based on these notes. So, do we want to use this as our first exploratory issue, or maybe we want to find something probably with that does not require a lot of context, which we don't have yet.
Hmm. Well, let's see. Is there anything?
For
This one.
example, let's see that one. Yeah, the default value. So you have a table. Duplicate.
So,
Oh, the default value of the database.
so let's see. Duplicate ID.
Yeah, from the chat. We're still exploring what could be a good. I mean, we did a first issue that was a small change on the version supported, the Ruby supported version, and now we're trying to find something more related to the internals, so we can get familiar with the code base, because we're not maintainers of FactoryBot, but we want to contribute, and it's pretty much the same case for most people in the chat, that you want to contribute but you have no idea how to start. So we're trying to find like a good issue that can be a good start. Let's see about this one.
Yeah.
That one looks okay. That what is that? What is about this one?
Yeah. So we've got the realtors table with duplicate ID, making a
Mm-hmm.
factory with the duplicate ID attribute.
Mm-hmm.
This one right here using Faker. Nice.
Okay.
Uh, we're creating a object in the test, and we're passing it a duplicate ID,
Mm-hmm.
and the value of duplicate ID on this object is nil instead of the expected value.
Hmm. So the expected value comes. Okay. Yeah, that this could be a good one to understand the internals. So I like this one. So we have a bunch of duplicate ID.
Let's
It does not
see. So
set any value.
we need to but this, yeah, this is very interesting because we would definitely expect that to be dupe
Mm-hmm.
one.
Okay. And
The default
but
is
the
false
default
though. Yeah,
false.
interesting.
So it's using the default from the database.
Is it though?
Or
Would that?
default? No, it's default false. Never mind. So what's new? Yeah, this could be a good one. We can probably try getting working code locally where we can reproduce. I mean, we have some good clues, but we
Mm-hmm.
don't have compared to the other issue. We don't have something that it's easy that we can copy and paste easily.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
probably we can make it work.
All right.
Um,
Yeah. Do we want to see? We could make a tiny little Rails app. We could do something like the other
mhm,
one and have
mhm.
it all in. Where did that one go? That one was
Yeah,
nice.
because I think if even if we don't get to fix the issue, providing an app that's and instead of just hints, that's also a
Yeah.
good way to contribute. So yeah, we can try that definitely. Let's keep an eye on
Where
that
did I
one.
go? This one here. Okay, cool.
Hmm.
Because I actually haven't, I have not written one of these inline. Uh,
Mhm.
need FactoryBot. We need mini test auto run. Sure that we need logger. Uh, my LSP thing is a little annoying. Let's see, does this even?
Let's see. That reminds me of I don't know if it was Rubicon or Railscon talk about like how to make like a one-page Ruby Rails app. But it was
Yeah,
I kind of saw that one. It's like you can pretty much put views and everything on just one single file, and
right,
that
right.
works.
Um, this is super interesting. If I'm on it. Cool.
Oh,
So
active record.
Jader, this is we're creating a table. This is essential. They're doing it with the what is it? The schema structure
Mhm.
SQL. Let's see if we can
Yeah, we can do
get the
that.
same thing
Mhm.
to happen. Let's see. Sure, memory. Uh,
We might not need a logger. I don't know.
no, creating a table. Let's use realtor just to keep.
Mhm. The same terms.
Yeah. What was the name
Uh,
of
du-
the?
One was duplicated ID or duplicate ID. I don't remember. Let me open the issue here just to have that
Yeah,
as quick reference.
string. We want default false. Nope,
Okay, let's see.
false.
Yeah, it's duplicate ID is a char. Well, it could be a string. Yeah, and the other one it's a boolean. The default is
Okay.
false and not null. Which probably it's we don't need.
Oh, was I looking at the wrong?
I'm gonna share the one that we
Oh,
are. Yeah,
there we
no,
go.
that one.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was getting my default not nulls crossed up.
Okay, I'm gonna share the chat the issue we're working at.
Yeah, and there were no other specifications in that.
Hold on. Uh, can you go back to the code? Yeah, because yeah, duplicate ID is a string, and the other one duplicates a boolean. Okay, yeah. Duplicate full. Okay. Oh, there's a comment from Sarah. Sorry, from Stephanie. Rails has a bunch of reproduction scripts that are helpful for these scenarios, and then you can just grab and adapt. So
Nice.
yeah, cool. Thanks
File
for
that
the
away. That is
contribution.
awesome.
Yep.
Okay, we're just doing a realtor, and we want to give it just like you would give it any other attribute in FactoryBot.
Mhm.
Nope. Yeah, Copilot knows what we're at. What we're after. Not quite. Right. Yeah, let's give it true. Choose with it. Maybe something else.
Else. So the expectation is that
Oh yeah.
it should have the something else, but it's using they should exist. Was that the
I think it was even nil, wasn't it?
yeah, but I don't know. Okay. Yep. No, yeah, actually that was Neil. Yeah, we're right.
Yeah. So not even a spec, but just puts. Good old puts.
It's the best debugging tool.
Mm.
What are we missing? Realtor.
Oh, there's no
Class definition.
yeah. Do we have yeah, we do have activity.
Yep. Yep. Let's see that.
What?
Unexpected.
What am I doing?
Oh,
Am
it's
I?
just one. It's just one. Yep.
Got it. Oh, it's the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. When you've got observers watching you type, it changes reality.
Yeah. Okay, it's installing things. Good. Okay. Oh yeah, we don't have assertions because you only use puts, but I don't see anything, so that might be. Sure.
See ostruct. You can no longer add ostruct to your gem file. Oh, you know what? Maybe because we're requiring mini test auto run, it actually is expecting us to have a test here, and it's not going to give us just a kind of bare puts.
Okay. Yeah, we can just do like a
test. And it's from only one. Test the ID. Insert something else to the realtor dot duplicate ID. And my formatter's not going to work. No, there's not.
Okay. Like manual.
All right.
Let's see.
I'm sure there's probably a way to cache this or something.
Mini test.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Wait, did I? Oh, that's capital T? No, but that was correct. Yeah. Should be, yeah, lowercase t. Let's see.
Did we have it right? Yeah, that doesn't help. Okay. Blank. Although I probably should know that. Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, we got it. Actually,
that's super surprising.
Yeah. This duplicate ID.
What?
Why duplicate ID? It's not. Okay. I have a guess that it might be related to the ID suffix that maybe we are delegating the database to. For example, when I mean, again, I don't know the internals, but we usually, if I recall correctly, when we're calling a factory, the ID comes from the database because usually we have like a ID increasing or something. And maybe since this one is called underscore ID, is like, oh, I'm not gonna do this because the database should be given should give me this data. Let's do something.
Yeah, that's
what do you,
interesting.
let's try something. No, but how can we make like a default number? Oh yeah, let's try something. Can you scroll up to the what if we do a default one? Are we gonna get the one? Which probably we are gonna get. Because if that's the case, that kind of gives me, it makes me think that maybe it's related to the ID. Let's see.
Yeah, does FactoryBot do anything with when it sees the underscore ID,
Mm-hmm.
or does Rails do something with that?
Oh,
Yeah,
yep.
okay, so that worked. So with there being a default, we got what we expected, but when there's no default, something is getting in the way.
Mm-hmm.
No, wait, I didn't put it back in the. No. I don't think we did anything right there.
Yeah, but it's getting nil because yep, I think that that's kind of
Yeah,
related to our hypothesis that
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what the database is returning. Um, but yeah, I mean I definitely that behavior makes sense, but we should be able to override that as
Yeah.
as in this example.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have something now. We can take a look, try to find
Got a
something related to
theory.
IDs. Yep.
Yeah, that's fun. Because it's gonna be some meta programming, I bet.
Or like a regular expression. Probably just ID.
Next ID
That sort
strategy
of stuff.
starting ID FactoryBot
Aliases. Oh,
aliases.
that
Find
looks promising.
the value. Print out the value the factory is assigning. So we're seeing in the duplicate ID in creating the
Uh,
factory. Yes.
okay, I'm putting this. Yeah, the issue is that the attribute is called duplicate ID, and even if you are using a default or overriding when creating an object, that's not working. You still get what the database is telling you from that field.
Yeah. So I guess
We
there's kind of two things here, right?
Mhm.
That we want the factory here, and then we also um, want to say that if we pass something into the .create,
Mhm.
then that value should be the one, right? Because
Yep. Not even the default is working. So that's one case, and the other case is that the override it's also not working.
right. So let's give this a better name now that we're going to have two of them. Test. Let's see. Factory find value should. And then create assigned value. Uh, get I think that ID something that's
Mhm.
insert equal something
Something else.
else.
Okay, I have an idea on why maybe that's the default behavior because I think that probably makes sense for associations. Because you can do
Mm-hmm.
if you have an association, you can pass. Let's say that duplicate is an association with a realtor. In this case, it's
Mm,
not. But you can pass duplicate and then pass the associated object, or you can pass duplicate ID and then just the
mm-hmm.
ID of the object. So for this one, that it's called ID, but it's not really an ID. That's probably when things do not make a lot of sense for the current code.
Right. Yeah, that's this is sort of an outside of convention
Mhm.
use, right?
Yep.
Although I guess if that was an association and we passed it That's a good point. If that's defined as an association on either the factory or the model class, does it then allow the ID? Because I feel like I've done that in factories
Mhm.
before.
Yep. Yep. And
So it's,
but this should be valid because we can
yeah,
use.
absolutely.
Well, this one is FactoryBot Rails. So, or is it FactoryBot? I don't remember.
Oh, I think this is FactoryBot. I think I'm just in the
Okay. Yeah,
uh,
because
old
this is
directory.
FactoryBot, so it should not probably assume that we're using Rails conventions because we can use FactoryBot
Right,
by itself.
right.
So
Yeah,
this is a valid case, I think.
yeah, I agree.
Okay, how can we start?
So,
Can we? I don't know. Let's take a look at. I mean, we found that. That's a good starting point. Uh, we can also take a look at the create method because we're
yeah.
calling that. Because I'm curious. Because it's for sure, I think it's receiving the value, but what it's doing with that value that we're passing.
Mm-hmm. Valuation, is this the only, there's 83. Oh, it's giving us some real fuzzy searching here. So, okay.
Yeah. Christoph says Alice as a spec gives a clue. That's the default behavior. Yeah, I think it's the one that appeared on the search, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to that section. The one with the regular expression, probably. Yeah. Oh, let's take a look at the alias as a spec. There's a spec for that. That
Yeah,
could be a
just
good.
thought that would show.
Yeah, because there are the
Aliases.
aliases and the spec file. Okay. For an attribute, should include the original attribute and a version suffix with ID.
Select aliases to include, or
Oh,
for foreign keys to include both the suffix and unsuffix. Test ID. Um, List of aliases should include a variant of suffix.
huh. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I think it looks like it's very tied to Rails and some expectations that we are using Rails. And as you mentioned, we if we're not using the Rails conventions, we're
Mm-hmm.
getting some weird results. Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. So we've got these aliases that get
Mhm.
created um, based on the original attribute name.
Mhm.
It seems it's going to suffix it with an ID. How does that interact with when we're creating? Is it here? I'm not even sure this is the right place.
Create a full instance. Yeah, it's a good point. What's gonna be the correct create this? That's for association. Object tab modify, create,
Oh, it
notify.
is.
I think
Looks
it's
like it.
like that one.
So we've got
Uh, we can try to find the specs of each file and see how they are using and make sure we are taking a look at the correct one. Let's find. Oh, I think there was a typo. Yeah, evaluation. Yeah.
valuation.
Page. Well, that's just a commit. Okay. evaluation spec. Oh, but that's for something
This is
else.
for everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for all of GitHub. Yeah. We can also, I mean, we already have the code locally, so we can. I usually explore with bundle open, and then the name of the gem to have the code base already locally. So we can try that. Bundle open and FactoryBot, I think, and then we can put debuggers and could not find. Oh, it's because we're installing this just like in one without a gem, like a proper gem file.
I think it was
Is what?
because we're in FactoryBot Rails that I cloned down, which is maybe
Okay, come.
kind of get in the way. But
Okay, let's see.
does anybody else get the Beach Boys song stuck in their head whenever they see fetching installing Aruba? I don't think I can sing it because I don't want to get a copyright strike or anything.
Is that a thing on live streams?
I have no idea.
Because we're not streaming to YouTube; it's just directly.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
But when we upload, probably that's gonna be the issue.
Yeah, you should still everyone like and subscribe and hit that little bell.
Yep. And share. Again, in the meantime, we have a form where you can join. You can share your email and get into a raffle for a T-shirt of the first. I think is it. I don't know if it's the first time we're doing the Open Summit. At least it's the first time we do this while I'm here, which is 3 years. So I don't know if this was a thing from the past that we're doing again, or if it's the first time. But yeah, we're into the code base. So yeah, exactly. It's gonna be uploaded on YouTube. I don't know, maybe other channels. So yep.
Great.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's see. Did that work?
Yeah, but
oh, you can specify the editor in case you want to use something different.
don't though.
You
But
just
like, nice my battery draining too. That's interesting. Excuse me. Well, we
yeah, 'cause
are.
yep.
I was just gonna say we were coming up on our first break, and I need to check on why my battery is draining, even though I'm plugged in,
Okay.
and drink some water and stuff. So I think we've got some threads to pull on when we get back.
Oh yeah, you're right. Same for the break. I mean, it's like 2 minutes, but yep, we can do that now.
Sure. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, let me just prepare banners and stuff. But yeah, let's see you in 1 hour if I calculate. Yeah, it's a 1 hour
Yeah.
break. So yep,
Yeah.
we'll continue with this one. So yep, thank you. Stay tuned.